Greetings once again, family, and welcome to yet another show on Live with Chatufa. It seems it does not rain for Zanu PF. It pours. Exposure after exposure after exposure, almost on a daily basis. We are having reports of exposure of Zanu PF, them having done something that was done maybe in the past, being reviewed today. And it seems like it's an ongoing thing that we will continue to be experiencing throughout until the final fall of Emmerson Mnangagwa and Zanu PF. Right now, today, as we speak, Zanu PF officials have been implicated in an $18 million corruption deal in Namibia. And this is really very, very pathetic and sad. Remember, just yesterday, we were talking about Emmerson Mnangagwa coming out on the Namibian, which happens to be one of the largest and most read newspapers in Namibia. And he was exposed there, his face right on the front page, and writing that this man has interfered in the elections of Namibia, and he's a thief and a dishonest man. And we have been saying that this really is an embarrassment that we are seeing happening in our country. And Mnangagwa and Zanu PF, they don't seem to be seeing the damage that they are putting to themselves, to Zanu PF, as well as to the country itself. So more and more exposures continue to come out with Zanu PF's name and officials also again being exposed in Namibia. The Namibian, again, the newspaper we've been talking about, is indicating that $18 million stolen from SME Bank, washed by Mugabe's ex-pilot. Just imagine, all these people are Zanu PF officials. And look, you can't continue to be always on the front page of or on the headlines of the news in a foreign country as a party or as a people that are running their own country somewhere else. And this really, I'm telling you, is so bad for SWAPO especially. SWAPO, they must really be looking at this and realizing that this is going to be a blow right in their face. If SWAPO will continue to be, complacent, and they don't want to look at this as an existential threat to them, then they have not opened their eyes. I think they'll be having the same attitude of Zanu PF, of ever thinking that they'll be in power forever and nothing will ever happen to them, and blah, blah, and blah, blah. And that's the same thing that we're talking about. That SWAPO must be beginning now to notice that Zanu PF really is not a good friend to have around, because they will expose you right inside your own country. They will come and interfere. They will come and cause you to be very unpopular, like what we have seen happening in Botswana, where Patrick Chinamasa and other officials of Zanu PF were sent by Mnangagwa, and they attended a rally, a political rally of the BDP, and they had to do slogans there, even doing slogans in Shona language, imagine, in Botswana. And Botswana had been given a warning already by Ian Kama when he spoke that the Zanu PF government wants to interfere in the elections of Botswana. So Botswana, be careful of Zanu PF and Emmerson Mnangagwa, and Zimbabweans for that matter now being also dragged into the mud. And that's the very same thing that Botswana did. They were awakened, and then they acted quickly in their ballot. And today we are speaking of BDP having beaten the dust. And that's the same thing that we are talking about in the context of SWAPO. To say that SWAPO must really be very careful what is happening, because having Zanu PF in their corner, having Zanu PF attached to them, and Zanu PF campaigning for them even on social media is really not going to be good for them. At the end of the day, this might lead to an outcome that might shock them at the end of the day. So a shocking outcome might come again for SWAPO if they continue to befriend Zanu PF and they don't want to actually, look at the disadvantages and the weaknesses that is coming to their part because of the interference of Emmerson Mnangagwa and Zanu PF. So we are actually looking at, many disturbing deals. You still remember, again, last time we were talking about that deal which was involving Wikno Chifayo with the Electoral Commission in Namibia, and it made quite a lot of outcries, and I'm sure it must have been reversed, because we did not hear the opposition talking about whether that proceeded or not. But we saw the opposition in Namibia going into the streets and demonstrating again against Zanu PF as interference in the electoral process of Namibia. And that, remember, is already conscientizing quite a lot of Namibian people to see how ugly Zanu PF is. So once they look at the ugliness of Zanu PF, they will look at the friend of Zanu PF and say, you are the friend of Zanu PF. You are bringing Zanu PF here. Zanu PF can never come here except coming for you. So which means if we don't want Zanu PF here, we would rather also get rid of you. And that is the scenario that we are seeing SWAPO facing right now. So the elections coming next week, we don't know whether SWAPO is going to survive this or not. And I hope they are not taking things for granted, because they might be receiving a shocking result. Remember what happened in their diaspora vote. Their diaspora vote was not good at all. SWAPO lost a lot of ground in that diaspora vote, which could be a sign already that what could be happening on the ground on the 27th of November 2024 might not be good news for SWAPO at the end of the day. So we are looking at a battle that really is going to be pulling down most of these liberation parties that Zanu PF wishes they would continue on, and yet they are oppressing their people. They are failing to deliver, and they want to continue running under corrupt activities that we have seen happening in Namibia, in Botswana, in Mozambique, and the West, of course, happening right in Zimbabwe, because in Zimbabwe is where we have the elephant of all these liberation parties, which happen to be Zanu PF. And I believe that once God has finished dealing with all these others that are surrounding us, we are going to see the mother of them falling last. We are going to see the elephant itself going down. And that is not going to be far from now. It's very close. Zanu PF don't believe it, but we know what we are talking about. Let's continue praying for the nation of Zimbabwe. Let's continue praying for the nations of SADC. Let's continue to believe God, that God is on it, God is in it, God is on the move to bring liberty to his people, to free the oppressed people of SADC. Because SADC, as a regional board, has shown its citizens that they don't care about the welfare of the citizens of SADC. They care about protecting each other. It's just one old boys club where they are just in a brotherhood to protect each other and are not able to rebuke each other if they see one going in the wrong direction. They would rather support whatever is done by whoever, as long as they are a liberation party. But that is not the ethic of politics that we want. We want to see better ethics in our politics. We want to see honesty, transparency. We want to see accountability in our politics. And that is the call that we are giving out as the people of Zimbabwe, as well as those that are also standing for the freedom of their people in Mozambique and in all other nations of the SADC region. The SADC region remains a bloc that is embarrassing to the world right now because of their failure to deal with their internal issues, and would rather politic and choose sides instead of dealing with a problem once and for all. So this is what is happening. Very, very embarrassing for Zanu PF officials to continue to be on the front pages of and on the headlines of the news in Namibia. It's not going to be working well for them. At the end, where we are going, some of these issues are going to turn around and bite them. So this is what it is, family. As always, and once again, I thank you for supporting this platform, Shatufa TV Productions, and as well as Live with Shatufa. These two platforms are our platforms of change. Let's support them by always be there, supporting, subscribing, liking, sharing, and of course, introducing those channels to many others so they can join hands with us in our prayers for the freedom of our people. God is in it, freedom is coming, and you remain blessed, and shalom. Till we meet again tomorrow on the upcoming shows. You are blessed, family.